It's Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Well, as many of you forecasted and predicted, the Fed did pause rate hikes today. The Fed has paused, they have skipped. Now, I was thinking that there was a possibility, a chance that Jerome Powell might have had some guts, that the Fed might have had some guts today and did another rate hike and kind of just shocked the markets a little bit. But as many of you and most of you predicted, we did get a skip, a pause today. I jotted down some notes from the meeting and some of the things that Jerome Powell said today. He says it will be appropriate to raise rates until the end of the year. They're saying that they're going to raise 2 more times this year, 2 more times next year, and then 5 rate cuts in 2025. What do you think? Is this going to happen? Is Jerome Powell just talking tough again? I think he's very, very dovish, but he's talking somewhat hawkish. But I don't know what to expect anymore. This thing is so out of control now. Who knows what's going to happen? Getting inflation back to 2% has a long way to go, he says. The economy faces headwinds from tighter credit conditions. Further rate hikes are appropriate, he says. It's going to take time to get inflation down. It may make sense for rates to move higher, but at a more moderate pace. We don't know the full extent of the banking turmoil consequences, he says. No policymakers see rate cuts this year, he went on to say. I think Jerome Powell should be very, very concerned about this mess that we're in, and a lot of this mess is because of the Fed. We have a major risk to more inflation, and I think that, as many of you are reporting, inflation is not going away. When you write that rent check out, when you go to the grocery store, when you have your car repaired, you're not seeing any cut in inflation. We still have a major yield curve inversion. In fact, today it is the widest it has been in 3 months. The Fed's balance sheet is still over $8 trillion. I believe that we now have a runaway train. Inflation is much higher than they're admitting. It's much higher than they're telling you and I. And inflation is going to be here much, much longer than anyone has anticipated. And all of you are reinforcing that, because every time you go to the store, every time you buy a shirt, a pair of shoes, a chicken leg, a pound of hamburger meat, a hot dog, anytime you go out to dinner, prices of everything continues to go up. Utility prices. We're seeing gas prices creeping up now. The hedge today, U.S. consumers are facing a crushing debt servicing problem. And I'm not going to go through the whole article, but I noted some things, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here. But let's just go back the past couple months and see where we're at. 2 of the largest California banks collapsed. Revolving consumer credit has exploded. Interest on that credit, on those credit cards, is the highest it has ever been. How is it possible, despite the surge in credit card debt and the surge in interest rates on those credit cards, that consumers continue to spend with recklessness? This is the question that I get literally every day. My circle of friends, my family, people very close to me. How are people doing this? I see cars all over the roads. The restaurants are busy. The hotels are booked. People are getting on airplanes. Yet the cost of living increasing, the cost of capital to borrow increasing, rising unemployment, stagflation. Yet again, the hotels are booked, the restaurants are busy. Not all, but you know, there are a handful of restaurants that are busy. People are spending money. Flights busy. Banks are clearly supplying the consumer with more credit. They are using credit cards, ladies and gentlemen. They're using it to pay those utility bills, to put gas in the car, to get on those airplanes, to eat at those restaurants, to stay at those hotels. They're using credit cards. The consumer is so over-leveraged right now. I don't think we really understand the danger here. And they're over-leveraged with record debt and the highest interest rates on that debt we have ever seen. So what are they going to do? My question to you, what are they going to do when they lose their jobs? The banks are passing out credit cards like they're candy right now. But what happens when these people no longer can make the minimum payment on those credit cards? When they can't pay that money back, when they lose a job, what are they going to do? We are going to see historic times in the US, ladies and gentlemen. But when people lose those jobs, as the labor market continues to weaken, and it's going to weaken, I believe, at a historic level, people are going to be in very, very big trouble, because when those credit cards begin to get canceled, when those credit lines begin to get cut, when those credit cards get turned off, people are going to be in huge trouble. You know this, I know this. And again, people ask me every day, how are people doing this? It's simple. It's called credit cards. And when people have 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 credit cards, they're going to continue to use them until they no longer can. And people cannot adjust their lifestyles. They're going to continue to go out to eat, even if they can't afford it, even if they have to put it on a credit card and pay the minimum payment on that next month. That's what they're going to do. If they want a pair of shoes today, they want a shirt, they're going to put it on the credit card. They need to put gas in the car because they need to go shopping or to get to that restaurant or take that weekend trip. The gas in that car is going to be put on that credit card. When they get to Vegas, that room is put on the credit card. People are playing a very, very dangerous game here, and a game that they are guaranteed to lose. Do whatever you can, ladies and gentlemen, to go against the grain. Do the opposite of what these people are doing. Do not become a debt slave. Do not become subservient to a credit card, to a bank, to the system. You're going to be in very, very big trouble at the worst possible time. You don't want massive amounts of debt heading into a depression. You don't want to be reliant on a credit card. This is the time to get side hustles. This is the time to build up capital, put cash away, not to be buying stuff. Cut out the vacations, cut out the lattes. This is the time to stack cash, buy assets, live way below your means. If you make 100 grand a year, you live like you make 50 grand a year. You want to get extreme, live like you make 30 grand a year. That's how you have to do it. I live so far below my means in order to keep stacking cash and precious metals and preparing for what's coming. And what's coming? Big sales are coming. People are going to lose. And, you know, to the people out there that go, oh, I'm a bad person because I'm going to capitalize on somebody's losses. I didn't tell you to go buy a brand new Dodge Charger or Dodge Ram truck or Dodge Challenger making $35,000 a year when you have a rent payment of, you know, $2,000 a month. I didn't tell you to spend all your stimulus on toys. I didn't tell you to borrow money out of your house and use your house as an ATM and take out a HELOC so that you could go buy an Airbnb property, or so you could go take, you know, 6 vacations last year. I didn't tell anybody to do that. I didn't tell anybody to live beyond their means. I'm living way below my means right now because I don't want to be a debt slave, and I want to be able to prosper and take advantage of the sales that are coming, because people have really used a lot of stupidity over the last few years, believing that, you know, rates would stay low forever, that the government was going to send everybody a check forever, that people could stay on unemployment forever, that wages are going to go up forever. Wages are going down. The government checks are over. The cost of living is going through the roof. Inflation is not going away. And to the people out there that bought the big cars and the big houses and the Airbnbs and lived way beyond their means and continue to put this all on social media like big shots, you are going to pay the price. And unfortunately, people like me are going to buy your toys and buy your houses. And it didn't have to be that way. But certain people want to be big shots. They want to live a lifestyle that they could not afford, all based on credit. Praying and hoping that the prices of homes would go up, that interest rates would stay low, that they would have a job forever, that their wages would go up forever, and that everything would be fine, that there would be no speed bumps along the way. That's not real life, ladies and gentlemen, and these people are going to pay a severe price. The hedge today. This is why nobody will do anything until it is too late. It's already too late, ladies and gentlemen. There's no reversing course. And as I've said in the past, unfortunately, it is too late for millions of people out there already. They're so far in debt. They're so overextended, so overleveraged, they cannot afford to prepare right now. They don't even have $50 in their bank account. Many have zero. The story is debt doesn't matter, because we can outgrow rising debt forever. Our bag of financial engineering tricks is bottomless, and there will always be another financial rabbit in the hat that we can just pull out of the hat. This is fantasy. Debt eventually eats the system alive. So do fixed costs, entitlements, demographics, and declining productivity. The only thing that matters is maximizing profits and private gains of the entrenched and rich. So the very, very top 0.001% at the very top of that pyramid are making money, while the rest of this country is paying a severe price. We are sacrificing this economy for Wall Street and the very few at the very, very top. And if you don't start thinking like a central bank, if you don't start thinking like the people at the very top of the pyramid, you are going to get absolutely annihilated. These people are the people that pay off their debts. These are the people who have massive amounts of gold, silver, land, real estate, businesses, etc. But of course, this is full-on cheating because these people got most of the $7 trillion that was injected into the economy over a 30-month period, causing massive amounts of inflation now. And so these people took it and bought assets and became wealthier, while the average person went out, ran up their credit cards, bought a Dodge Charger or Challenger, and thought that the party would go on forever. You know, people went out and bought clothes, and they bought purses and wallets, and they went out to dinner. The rich people they didn't just squander their money. They're buying assets, while the average American is buying pipe dreams. The economiccollapse.com, America's infrastructure is collapsing right now. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave the U.S. a C-, citing its crumbling public roads, aging bridges, and deteriorating water mains. Over 220,000 bridges in America need repairs or replacement. A water main breaks every 2 minutes in America. An estimated 6 million gallons of treated water are lost every day because of this. 1,164 train derailments last year. Does this sound like the infrastructure of a thriving first world nation? It certainly does not sound like that to me. Let me know your thoughts on that. How's the infrastructure in your areas? I can tell you out here, down I-10, a lot of the road is getting chewed up. There's trash everywhere. I see deteriorating buildings all over the valley now. I see homelessness everywhere. It does not look good. And this is not a really, really bad area. So what's it looking in parts of, say, San Bernardino, areas like that have really deteriorated over the years? It looks bad. The hedge today, the great dollar paradox. Central banks know what is happening behind the scenes. Do you? Most people do not know what is happening behind the scenes. One thing I know, and what's happening behind the scenes, is gold. Gold is your friend. Gold now is probably the enemy of the US dollar. Gold is the enemy of the system. The new BRICS plus currency may throw a monkey wrench into the dollar market by linking itself to gold. In that case, China and Russia will have a strong interest in higher gold prices, because that means that the BRICS plus currency will be worth more, and that may trigger the real decline of the dollar. So interesting, so fascinating. I bet if you asked 100 people on the street, what's the BRICS? Maybe one, if you're lucky, would know what it is. People have no idea, and if you have no idea what's going on, you can't take action. You have no way of surviving this. Your dollars, your paper stocks, going to be worthless. You need to be diversified. You need to be protecting yourself right now. I think everybody, and this is not financial advice, but everybody in my circle, my friends, my family, my loved ones, everyone knows you got to own some gold. Not telling you to be 100% in gold or 50% in gold, but I think the more gold and silver you have right now, the more protected you are right now. This is going to happen at some point, ladies and gentlemen. And let's pray it doesn't happen in a year or two, because that gives you and I more time to use this monopoly money to buy more real money, to take this fake currency that's depreciating every day and that is going to collapse at some point. It's going to be at a third world status. It may be around for a long time, but it's not going to be a world reserve currency like it once was. It's not going to have the status. It's going to be like a third world currency at some point. Take the time that you have. Maybe it's a couple years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 10 months. I don't know, before we really see these BRICS nations and this new currency, quite possibly backed by gold, become serious competition to the US dollar. The time that we have, we need to be constructive with it, and we need to be buying up as much real money, not these currencies, but the real actual money, the gold, the silver. And the more time we have, the more we can acquire, and the more protected and the more wealth we're going to have. But this is happening, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what Dave Ramsey says, he can laugh at it. He can joke about it, but the BRICS nations right now, you look at the size of their GDP, you look at the size of their population, you look at that, they are a force to be reckoned with right now. These are the nations that are manufacturing, producing literally everything in the world right now. These are massive populations, and I don't need to tell you to buy gold to make the gold price go up. That's not going to happen. There's 183,000 subscribers on this channel. Most probably don't buy gold or silver. A handful of you do. Hopefully, more and more of you are doing it. If you need a good place, SD Bullion, go to my link down below. That is a great company. I've been dealing with them for 4.5 years. You can buy from wherever you want to buy from. I know that's going to offend somebody because I put a link out there, but buy it from whoever you want to buy it from. Buy your gold, your silver, whoever you want to buy from. Just make sure it's reputable. SD Bullion is reputable. I've been dealing with them for 4.5 years. My family does, my friends do. So that's a great recommendation. But again, you don't have to buy from them. You don't have to buy it at all. Do whatever you want to do. But the world is changing. The world is going to go to gold, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the central banks are stockpiling. Anybody with some common sense ever ask, why are the central banks buying gold at a record pace? Why are they buying up gold faster now than they ever have? What do they know that maybe I don't know? What does China and Russia and the BRICS nations know? Why are they buying it all up? These are things we all have to really ask ourselves, and we have to be honest with ourselves. Do you think holding dollars and some stocks and some bonds is going to be enough protection for you and your family? I don't think it is. So just something to think about. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you financial advice. Think about it. Investigate it, do some due diligence, do your own research. Gold is never going to be worth zero. It's got a 5,000-year history. But I don't need somebody said, oh, you're telling people to buy gold so the price goes up so you make money. First off, I didn't buy gold to make money. Okay, I bought gold to have purchasing power, to have wealth protection, to have real money, so that when the time comes, I can actually buy things so that I don't starve. I can buy food with it. I can go to a farmer. I can convert it into any currency. I can use it anywhere in the world. It's extremely liquid. I didn't buy it to make money. I bought it to protect myself, my family, my future. And again, 183,000 subscribers. If every person out there bought gold, it's not going to make any difference. What does make a difference are the central banks. They're going to be the ones that push the gold price up. It's going to be Russia, China, the BRICS nations, India, Saudi Arabia. These nations are going to be the nations that push the price up. The central banks will push the price up. I don't need anybody to buy gold to push the price up. I'm going to leave that in the hands of the central banks. They're going to do that for me. They're going to do that for you. That's how I see it. Let me know your thoughts. And I want to finish with this last article coming from the Daily News. Suspect in custody after unprovoked Brooklyn stabbing of mom shielding daughter in stroller after the attacker went after her and her baby. So I bring this up in closing because, again, we're talking so much now about situational awareness, knowing your environment, knowing that there is a lot of evil out there. There's a lot of evil people out there that would hurt you just to have a laugh, just for entertainment, just because. A lot of people, again, make these videos and tell you, oh, you better have food, you better have water, you better have some silver. You better have situational awareness, ladies and gentlemen. You better know how to take care of yourself. You better have security, because here again, there's a multitude of stories again today about similar attacks and violence. And it's really heartbreaking that somebody would go after a mother and her infant baby in a stroller with a blade. It's absolutely disgusting. It's demonic. It's horrific. And it's real. And most people live in La La Land. They live in a bubble and they think that this could never happen to them. This stuff is happening every day all over the world, and especially right here in the US. Again, make sure you have a plan. Make sure you're aware. Get your face out of your phone. I see people all day at their house on their phones, walking around everywhere on their phones, paying no attention to what's going on. I think you're going to be a much healthier, better, more prepared person getting your head out of your phone and looking around at your environment. Be prepared. Think about certain types of security. Think about having a mental mindset. Think about a plan. Think about situational awareness. The number one thing you can do right now is exercise situational awareness. And if you're not doing that, you raise the odds severely to become a victim and a statistic. So don't let this be you, ladies and gentlemen. It takes absolutely nothing to put your phone away and pay attention to what's going on and what your kids are doing and where they're at. So many people just have no idea when they're walking, where they're at, who's looking at them. Do you look where the exits are? Do you look for an area that might be safe if something happened? I mean, it's sad that we live in a world like this, but you have to be, 2 steps ahead, because there's just so much going on out there. If I take my dog, Nugget, my little Frenchie, and we all know how many French bulldogs have been stolen. And these violent robberies of these dogs too. I mean, she has a armed detail with her at all times. So I don't worry about her. That would be a bad day for somebody. But use situational awareness. I think it's one of the best things of advice I can give you today. Best piece of advice I can give you today is exercise situational awareness. It's free. It could save your life. It could save your kid's life. If something doesn't look right, feel right, walk away. Just walk to the other side of the street, leave the restaurant, get out of the mall. If something doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, somebody doesn't look right, get out of there. Listen to your gut. But you can't do that unless you're using situational awareness, unless you know your environment, because that means your head, your eyes aren't glued to a phone. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. God bless all of you. Please like, subscribe, share these videos, and as always, I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.